You know, when you really think about it, our lives are basically a story told through our connections to other people. From the second we're born, we're shaped by the bonds we make, the ones that build us up, the ones that challenge us, and yeah, the ones that pretty much define who we are. So today, we're going to take a journey through those core relationships.
But have you ever really, truly just stopped and tried to map it out? I mean, to actually pinpoint that handful of relationships that are like the main pillars holding up your entire life? Well, that's the big question we're digging into today.
All right, so where does the story start? For every single one of us, no exceptions, it kicks off with our very first, most foundational connection, the one we have with our parents or caregivers.
And this first bond? Oh, it is so much more than just food and a roof over our heads. It's our first ever classroom for what connection even means. This relationship literally hands us the lens through which we're going to see the rest of the world. It's where we learn our first huge lessons about trust, about love, and about our own self-worth.
And here's the thing, this bond is never static. It's always changing, going through this incredible lifelong evolution. We all start out at stage one, total reliance, right? Where our very survival depends on our caregivers. Then we move into this guided independence phase, where we're learning to stand on our own 2 feet, but still with their guidance. And finally, if we're lucky, we get to adult peerage, that amazing point where your parent becomes a friend, an equal, connected by a whole lifetime of history.
So that web of connections starts to grow pretty quickly. For a lot of us, not long after that first bond is formed, we meet our first equals, our first competitors, our first secret keepers, and sometimes our first and most loyal allies, our siblings.
And this is where things get really interesting, because the sibling relationship is just full of contradictions. On the one hand, you've got rivalry. This is basically our first boot camp for learning how to argue, negotiate, and compete for attention. But on the other hand, there is this incredibly deep support. A sibling is your built-in ally who just gets where you came from in a way no one else ever will. It's a kind of solidarity that's pretty much unbreakable.
And that, right there, is what makes this bond absolutely irreplaceable. Your siblings are the co-keepers of your childhood memories. They're the only other people on the planet who know about the inside jokes, the family quirks, and all those quiet little moments that make up your shared history. It's a connection that is uniquely yours. Now we get to a really monumental shift in the journey. This is where we pivot from the family we were born into, the relationships that were basically assigned to us, to the family that we actively, consciously choose to build. This is, of course, the chosen bond we make with a spouse or a life partner.
And what's so different about this relationship is that it's built, not given. It's put together piece by piece on pillars of things like intimacy and commitment, sure, but also something bigger, a shared vision for the future. It's this active, collaborative project of building a life with somebody, which makes it a true partnership.
And this might just be the most profound identity shift of our entire lives. We literally go from being a product of a family to being the creator of a family. It's that moment you stop being just a character in someone else's story and you pick up the pen to become the co-author of a brand new one.
So we've got these 3 incredibly powerful, life-defining bonds, right? The parent, the sibling, the spouse. But here's the real key to all of this. They don't exist in separate boxes. They are constantly talking to each other, influencing each other, and shaping each other into this totally unique, interwoven legacy. Just think about it for a second. The trust or lack of trust we learn from our parents, that can have a huge impact on who we pick for a partner down the line. The way we learn to fight and make up with our siblings, that can absolutely inform how we decide to parent our own kids. It is all connected in this beautiful, messy, complicated web that is 100% yours. In the end, these relationships are the threads that weave the whole story of a life. So, we'll leave you with this to chew on. When you look back at your own story, at your own complex web, how have those relationships shaped the person you are right now, today? Thanks for thinking it through with us.